Hello, everybody. Oh, webcam is not on. Let's turn that on. Woo! Wow, it's like very fuzzy looking. Let's clean that off. I think that's better. All right, so it's Marty the JavaScript Party. My buddy Rhett. I've got an almond for her. These are her favorite nuts. There you go. I don't know if she'll go down there. I've put all kinds of obstacles and stuff to try to get her sort of some mental stimulation. Um, It is 12:14 on Sunday. It's like 68 degrees Fahrenheit outside. It's absolutely beautiful. Went running this morning, took the dogs to the park this morning, washed my truck this morning, had a busy, busy morning. So, anyways, we are working on trying to get a warning indicator here and here. And I believe these are both showing the same icon, which is a component. It's part of a component called the warning indicator component. And one of the kind of neat things about it is it's going to have its own dialog box. And that is cool. Just on a side note, I have been struggling with my um, audio lately. My previous headphones died. I think it was on Thursday, so I uploaded a video that had like a minute and a half of sound, and then the sound just dropped off. I did leave that video up there because I was kind of committed to having every line of code that I ever wrote for that project to be online. And then yesterday I did my show and I thought I was using my headphones, but actually it looks like I didn't have these headphones plugged all the way in. So I was actually just talking into the computer, which I thought sounded pretty good. So I don't know, maybe that is a better way to go than with this headphones. But it does look like, yeah, they're actually working today. Um, so anyways, let's do this thing. Warning indicator. So we could probably spend the whole time talking about like what the risks of using this application from a social and legal perspective are. And honestly, like over the decades of coding, I've always heard lots and lots of risks, and normally, not like literally 99 times out of 100, they don't ever come to any sort of meaning. But there is that 1 in 100 times where it really does matter. The one where I really think it ended up matter was like cookies. Like everywhere you go now, when you go to websites, they always give you a warning about cookies. That was like the only thing that I ever saw kind of flow all the way through. I don't know what the voice. It would be weird to have to give a warning for using the voice because the API is sending it. Because honestly, like when you just launch the browser, you're sharing data. Like anytime you go to any web page, you're sharing all kinds of data with all kinds of people, even if the website itself isn't collecting data. So it's a tough situation. I don't really know where we're going with that, but for today, what I'm going to focus on is turning this into a matte icon. Now, showing an icon is pretty much one of the easiest things you could possibly do. Showing a matte icon can be tricky. And it's kind of hard to make a video tutorial about it because so much of it has to do with like other things around it, like whether you're using modules or not using modules, and whether you're importing modules and how you're importing things and all that, whether it's standalone or whether it's not standalone, whether you've already imported things or not. There's just a million things that if you're just following along with me, may not match up for you. So it does get oddly tricky, but so I have a warning indicator component. So let's go ahead and look in there and see. Sure enough, warning indicator works. Exclamation mark. Let's change it to question mark just to double, triple, quadruple check that we are in fact looking at the right one. And hopefully we'll get a question mark there. And sure enough, we have a question mark. So we want a matte icon. Now I like to do I've kind of got into the habit of doing my matte icons by going to Angular material and just sort of copying code there as my first step. I feel like maybe it's a better idea to use ChatGPT, but I'm going to go with my old tried and true method. And what I do is I just go into Google and I type in Angular material. and I click on components. I usually just skip ahead, and then I go down to, these badges are really cool. I've never actually used them, but they're pretty neat. Core. So that's confusing because you would think that it looks like that would be an icon. So then I click in here. Generally, the first thing I'll do is kind of look at this thing and go to the code, and let's just try copying this code and then just put it here. Now this is so funny to me because what you end up getting is like a error. And what's funny about this to me is when you're using Angular material, sometimes you get an error like this, and then sometimes you don't. So like if you were to go look at the components and you go to the table, for example, let's see, or at least it's in the past, this is how it's worked for me. I've never used the grid list menu. It's in alphabetical order, so looking for table. So we go to table, right? And we go look at this example, like we do the same thing. See how it's table, mat table? So you're not going to get this error because it's, in this case, they're doing it as a directive. In this case, they're doing it as a component. I don't know if you can do image dat and then mat icon or whatever, but that is one of the funny things. Another thing that is a little different is they always tend to put it on one line. I tend to like to put these on their own lines, and the only reason, I only have one reason, and that is because it just makes, if you're working with other people, it makes the likelihood of having git conflict when you're trying to merge your code to be much lower. But anyways, when we hit save, what we're going to get is a compile error, and it's going to tell us that it doesn't know what mat icon is. And, there's, the narrative for why that is happening is basically that, I don't know, you can come up with lots of narratives, but basically I'm not importing it. Um, so if you're using modules, you may have a different situation, but since I'm using standalone, um, and standalone is the default. So it used to be that you, like, depending on what version of Angular you're using, you may have to specify that an icon is standalone. But I believe it was in Angular 16, maybe 15, maybe 17. I'm not sure. They changed it to where you it's by default standalone, and you have to say it's not standalone. It's kind of silly, but let's go back to our icon. I don't know if I can just hit back all the way back to it. Nope. Oh, maybe. Let's just go. And then click on this. And then, so basically our type strip, we see that we have a mat icon module. This is such a weird thing to me that, like, most linters are not going to like this. They're going to want you to have spaces in between. But basically you have to do this import, and then inside of imports, you have to put that there. At some point, they're going to realize that calling this import up here and calling this imports down here is confusing. And who knows what the hell they're going to break in the meantime. But I believe that will solve the issue. And sure enough, we have a little house. Now, it is not aligned properly. That's one thing that we have to deal with. And then the other thing we have to deal with is getting the right icon. And then I want to set the color of the icon. So those are three things that I want to do in this. I believe the alignment thing, I don't know. Let's go look at the gear and see what we did for that. And I don't know how this gear gets. I would have thought that was its own, but maybe not. I would have thought that was its own little component, but apparently I did not do it that way. So This gear doesn't look like it really did anything to it, so I don't know why. Maybe it's, oh, okay, so it's inside of a button. Guess we do want it to be inside of a button. Discrete form. Let's see. I wonder why. I don't know why I ended up doing it. I think it makes sense because we wanted to launch something, but yeah, I guess we do want it to be inside of a button. So let's go back. Let's look at our buttons. Maybe that's what we want to do. So we still are going to need the to import the mat icon, but here's our button. And I'm guessing they have an icon button yet. Or maybe it's a minifab. Mat icon button. Guess we want to go look. Let's look at this and see. See if there's a. Well, I guess, okay, so let's go ahead and find this thing. So, settings. The word settings apparently is in there. So let's look up the word settings. Unfortunately, it's a very common word. So we did it like this. Button, mat icon button. So I guess we'll do the same thing. And see, this is a perfect example where like it's not going to throw an error the same way it did before because this is not this is a regular button and then it's trying to use the um, mat icon inside of it, or that mat icon button uh, directive. All right, so let's go ahead and I guess that was a mistake the way I did that. So I'm going to go like this, Control V. It's kind of good to, and then just get rid of the whole click. We'll add the click later. And then I'm going to, just for the sake of lining things up, I always say I have OCD by proxy because I don't really have OCD as a regular human, but I've worked with so many people that had OCD that okay, so that is that. I suspect there. Well, see, we're not getting really any kind of error. So this is our. Let's go back, or maybe forward. Back. This guy, and I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to go look at it's the warning component. And oh, I guess we don't actually. I was thinking we would be importing the button like a mat icon button, but apparently we don't need to. I don't know why. Let's look at the warning indicator. Does it? It doesn't have any CSS, so I don't know why it looks different. Like why this one has borders and stuff like that, but this one doesn't. So let's go ahead and inspect it and see what I did. Okay, so it doesn't look like I'd have any. Well, I have this continuous, which is basically all I did was give it a cursor, which I did not need to do over here. So for some reason, actually, is this the right one? Maybe I'm not even looking at the right one. Yeah, I'm looking at the right one. But maybe I'm picking it up. I don't know. I don't know why that is, but mat icon. Oh, okay, so it's up here. Discrete form. class is my icon button. And then this is the record button. Okay. Okay, wait a second. Okay, so this is our warning indicator. Wait. All right, did I just get very, very confused? I think I just got very, very, very confused. Let's go back in the search. So inside of continuous, inside of discrete component.html, we have this thing. And basically all we have is button, click, mat, icon button, Arial. It's inside of this button class though, so I'm guessing that is where all the magic happens. So buttons, because it's in this buttons. Let's see, where's buttons? So since it's in there, okay, and then so warning indicator. Okay, so I wonder. Okay, so this. Okay, so this is in buttons, and it makes this flex. Oh man, I don't know what to do. Almost. I don't. Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to. We kind of were. I was kind of very inconsistent. I have this button and this button that's inside of here. But oh, okay. So then if I have something here, okay, let's see what happens. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. How are you? Oh, shoot. I need to do this in discrete. Hello. How are you? Okay, so see how these two kind of work, and it's because they're inside of the same flex box, but this guy here is not. It's outside of that. And the main reason is because I just wanted to have the same indicator, but unfortunately, in both cases, um, in this case, it ends up with getting its own styles, and I don't really understand that piece. But since we're right at the end of this, and I'm not too particularly worried about maintenance, I'm going to just get it to work. So basically, the warning indicator. I don't know why it has a button, so let's first of all let's figure that out. I mean, why it has a border. So let's get rid of the border. Okay, so it's clearly not part of that. Let's see. Let's just say border equals 0px. Okay, so basically it's on the button. For some reason, there's a border on the button. So we're going to get rid of that. Now, would I do this if I thought, oh, I'm going to be working on this um, code for the next 5 years? No, I would not. Because it's going to be a little bit more difficult to kind of come up to speed in the future if I have to do something, like if I would have to do maintenance, trying to figure out why they have different CSS and stuff like that, and making changes could have like all kinds of weird. All right, so our border, all that's gone, and so let's say background is equal to, and if you notice, it'll also be the same thing because we did it to both of them. So background color is equal to white. Oop, not white, white. I believe it'll just do that. Yeah, and then we want position to be relative. I think we can just say this color. I don't know 100% if I can do this, but color is equal to red. think 4px is usually what it is, just from memory. Oh, maybe not. 6px. Okay, so now here's where I usually will go to ChatGPT. Okay, so what is the best mat icon for a warning? And actually, the first thing you probably should do is come in here and just try warning. Because a lot of times there is one that's just already made for that. Yeah, that's probably good. I think it looks pretty good. Um, so now we have a warning icon. It looks both. I don't see how you can miss that. And we want to turn this into, I guess we want that to be a pointer. Wrong one. And basically we're going to want to launch a dialog box when this happens, when someone clicks on this. So probably do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that next week. It makes this a nice short 20-minute video. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.